greatest show on earth.
Welcome back to the Con Culture Convo, guys. I'm the co-host, Chris Bauer. There's Tim Hyde. He's the other guy in the screen.
Boom.
What you been getting into, dude?
Just got home from traveling and figured we'd record a pod real quick before we get out on the road and heading on up to Planet pretty quick here. So
Planet Con, Kansas.
You're on your way to Arizona, right?
Yeah. Gonna go and do Anime Arizona and
Nice.
good old Phoenix. Real nice this time of year.
It is.
It won't be in 3 months, but for right now,
No,
it's nice.
like even next month it may not be. So March is a good time to be there because
It
can
gets
turn
hot
real
quick. It gets hot real quick.
It's like one day, and all of a sudden, like May, it just turns from like on like May 7th, it just turns from being 72 degrees with a light breeze to like 99 the next day.
Boiling.
It does not stop.
It's a dry heat, though. Yeah, when it's 120. It doesn't.
Dude, I'm so over that as a fucking
Right.
like people from Vegas jerk off Vegas so much about how the heat is and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, it's so hot. It's so miserable.
Yeah.
It's 114, but it's a dry heat.
It doesn't
What?
matter. Once you're over 100 degrees, it's hot. Period. Your body can't tell the difference.
No. Anything over 90, I'm like, fuck this shit. I don't care if it's humid, if it's dry, if it's in between. It's still hot.
100%. It's hot.
Like,
It's hot.
I don't,
It's hot.
you know, I'll take 75 with a light breeze, not a cloud in the sky, baby. Let's go.
Oh,
And a margarita in my hand at the pool.
Marguerite? Ooh, shit. Okay.
We'll find out.
What are we reviewing today?
Find out, Marguerite. So we're reviewing a con I did a couple weeks ago. It's a second-time show called Coastal Comic-Con. So it's not Coast Con. To confuse that.
That's in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I know you didn't go do that again.
No, I didn't.
I want that show to be good so bad because I love Biloxi.
How is there not a 20,000 person show that's awesome in Biloxi?
Dude,
Honestly.
there's two cons there, right? And a horror con.
Yeah.
And they're all no flies, baby. It's just like, why? It's across the street from a white beach. I don't mean that skin color, by the way. I mean white sand.
Well, on the beach, probably pretty accurate. But
let's cut that. No, it's white sand beach. Is what I meant. It's a gorgeous town.
Nice water, great food, safe, clean. Like, it's a nice place.
I love Biloxi.
It's very underrated, and it sucks that there's not a good con there.
Yeah, there's a lot of cities like that where you have, I guess there's a lot of smaller cities that have good cons, and then there's really small cities that just need a good con. Biloxi's one of them, man. If I could get a good con of Biloxi, I'd be so thrilled to go there for sure. There's a lot of cities like that. They just don't have I don't know if it's the fan base to support something or if I think Biloxi's problem is it's constantly rotating tourists. It's hard to get that fan base down there at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Savannah where it's like a very touristy town.
Example. Yeah.
Where like they can't get a good show going. Big show, and it should,
It's got so many cons there. That's the other problem. The other problem, that's the problem with Savannah is they're oversaturated and they're all bad. Yes. And it's not because people aren't trying to do cons there. They're trying, too many of them, but none of them are good money makers for vendors.
No. And Biloxi, like, I just have a feeling that, like, I don't know, maybe there should be a really cool anime show that comes there.
Not a bad idea. Because I'll bet you that convention center is not very expensive.
I can't imagine it is.
I mean, it's an older convention center. It's been around a long time, but it's nice. I've always liked that convention center. And it's just right there at the beach, man. Yes. You're right across from, I think the Harris Casino's right there.
Yep.
In the hotel. And you're right downtown. It's gorgeous. And, that's that might be a good spot. I don't know, though, because every con I've been to there sucked. So,
well, I think we went to one way back in the day when I first got in the industry. When I first moved to Florida in
Yeah.
like 2015, 2016 range, there was one show that we did that was decent. I forget what it was called. It was not Coastal Con, but it was one that doesn't exist anymore. It's one of those like
I
two offs
agree.
and then done.
I remember
Something
going to
like
that
that.
show, and I don't remember the name of it. But it was manageable. It was never like a great show. It was just like,
No.
okay, I did all right, and it's beautiful here.
Yeah.
It was always that
Yeah.
kind of show. And I don't remember the name of it, but it was there at that convention center.
Yeah.
And it quit happening.
Yeah.
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 Anywho.
But so another coastal town that's actually very cool, but also kind of like Biloxi, where it's kind of off the beaten path. It's not a big city, like a big LA, New York, Boston type of thing. It's in Wilmington, North Carolina, called Coastal Comic-Con. And it's put on by Donald Brock, who runs the fantastic Soda City. He's also putting on a show in Myrtle Beach as well.
Nice.
Which is rough because Myrtle Beach has never been able to suffice a show. So I'm curious to see if anybody can pull it off.
It's
It's
one of those
Donald.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same as Biloxi, but we'll see.
Yeah.
He can do it if anybody can. So I have full faith in Donald. He puts on a fantastic show. And to be honest with you, this Wilmington show was another fantastic show.
That's awesome. Was it a 1 or 2 day?
It was a 2-day show.
Cool.
2-day show. Minimum hours. Load in is very weird.
Really?
Yeah, so they don't have a loading dock. So it's a nice, beautiful convention center. It's literally right on the water. And I mean right on the water. And it's really awesome when you go to pull up. There's like a little roundabout where the hotel is, Embassy Suites, and like right there you pull in and you could drop off your stuff and get out. But like there's like the harbor right there, and all it is a row of like basically townhouses on the water. Like it's literally all amazing houseboats, all just like nice ones, and they're all Airbnbs, which I think is really cool. They're really nice, like
that's cool.
$300-400 a night type nice.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Beautiful day. Luckily it was pretty warm out, nice breeze. It was great. And then, so I unloaded all my stuff. I turned in. You had to wait until they approved you to go in because they only had enough spots for like 3 or 4 cars. And then they had like a little loading dock. Like it's not even loading dock. It's really a door on the side of the road. So they had to shut down the whole road for anybody to be able to load in and load out on. So you had to have actual, So you had to have like police there. There was like 3 police officers directing traffic and making people go there. I mean, it's a lot of work for that.
And you had to go through that door? Loaded?
So you had 2 options. You could go through that door, or you go through that, or you can go in the parking garage and load it down through the elevator. But it's like a far walk. Like even though it's a small convention, you walk every square inch. I'd say it's from the closest spot in the parking garage to the booths, it's probably a 10 to 12 minute walk, and that's a lot.
That is crazy for a convention center to have such limited unloading capabilities. That really limits the type of conventions they can have there.
Correct. It does. Wow. But it's a beautiful convention center. It's very simple. It's very eco-friendly. I think they said like 80% of everything that they built it with and currently use is all recycled. So, which is, kind of unique in today's day and age. So that was nice. But yeah, so I load in, set up, went move my car, parked in the parking garage. $15 a day, kind of a lot in my opinion for that.
A little high.
It's a little high for being a smaller area.
I was going to say it's a tourist town, but it's not even tourist season, is it? Unless they're going for snowbirds.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, in theory, yeah. But it was cold Saturday. It was in the 30s. So it wasn't some like nice. It wasn't a nice coastal weekend at the beach, but in my opinion.
Wow.
So I set up everything, got everything all good and ready to go. Power was $110, which is kind of on par. And then Saturday show kicked off. Started off really slow, like every show. I thought, oh man, maybe this one's a miss because I heard last year was good and we did well there last year. I wasn't there, but Paxton did it, and I was like, okay, cool. So he was there on the other side. I was on the other side with Pop Cathedral, and it just randomly just kicked off like every show. noon, basically took to, and it was a noon to 4, but it was nuts to butts. Like they put the people in the
That's
building.
good. That's good. Like that.
I mean, I would say on Saturday they had 5,000 people on Saturday
No
alone.
kidding. Wow.
Yeah, and it's only a 40,000 square foot room, so it was packed.
No.
They had
And
a
this is,
decent start.
did you even say what it was called? Is it Wilmington Comic Con?
Wilmington Convention Center, and the con is called Coastal Comic Con.
Oh, no, we did. Sorry. For some reason, I thought the name of the city was in the con title. I apologize, Coastal Con. Sorry. Continue.
Yes.
I know. You can't get good help these days.
No kidding. My God. Not even the ones you're paying half of all these big proceeds from this show.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just how it goes.
Yeah, so Saturday ended up doing pretty well. Paxton and I went out and got dinner. It was nice. We had seafood. We both got fish and chips at a pub, Irish pub, walking distance. The one thing about that area is it's very nice. And basically how you get into like the kind of harbor-ish area where the convention center is you drive through all the historical areas. So like you can't get
downtown there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
you won't know about this, but let me talk to my Gen Xer viewers. They right downtown there in Wilmington, North Carolina, they filmed Empire Records. So the Empire, the building that Renee Zellweger did her whole solo right on top of, is right there in Wilmington. I know you don't have a clue what Empire Records is, Tim, but right now someone's watching this video and freaking out. They're going to book that show next year just because of that.
The other half are listening to this just fell asleep. So,
right. In the 90s, that movie was a da bomb. Rex Manning Day? Come on.
Rex Manning. I do know Rex Manning, actually. Surprise, surprise.
Well, that is that's a big part of that movie. So
yeah, I wouldn't even know. He could have told me he was in it. I'd have been like, cool, whatever, bro. I don't care.
Save the Empire. People know what I'm talking about. But continue. You had seafood Saturday night.
It was good. But yeah, like that whole area is historic, and like driving in every day was awesome. Like, man. You just go through these homes where you're like, this is where you wish you had money. Like real money.
It's like a baby Charleston.
I think the homes are just as nice as Charleston because it's that row house, really fancy coastal, North Carolina coast homes, but just a lot more of them because I feel like they just built out more from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, very similar vibes to Charleston. I think you would like Wilmington quite a bit.
I have zero doubt.
Have you ever been to Wilmington?
Nope. If anybody's ever looked at a map, you know why. It's not near anything. You have to mean to go there. Like you
just like
really
Charleston.
Do. It really is just like Charleston. You don't really go through it at going to anywhere. It is a destination. So no, it's just never had the opportunity to go.
Why do you think when they were building like 95 that they didn't just put it more along the coast?
Look at in Florida. It's not that far from the coast in Florida.
No. It's
way off in the Carolinas, off in the beach.
As soon as you get to North Carolina, it's 100 miles from the coast in some areas, and you're like, why won't you just follow it along the line? And if you wanted inlands, then you do the cross one. I mean,
no idea, no clue whatsoever.
Damn you, Eisenhower!
You son of a
yeah. Then so it was good. Hours were very appropriately
Southern
10 to 6. And I can tell you right now, it could have been 10 to 5. Yes, it could have been 11 to 4, really. It died.
Bible Belt, baby.
Well,
go to church first.
The only mistake, in my opinion,
the
only one mistake is he did the cosplay contest like an hour before the show closed. I don't like that. I think that's a bad for promoters. It's silly. I don't know why they do that.
Room. No coming back from it. Nope. No coming back.
And I mean, I think me and Paxton left
probably
about 20 minutes before the show ended because it was just like everybody's kind of leaking out and going. Yeah. When we got dinner, got a good night's sleep. It's nice though when the show ends like that. Kind of in the winter's time where it's dark. You get back to your hotel, you're like, oh man, it's dark. Right. And you look at the clock and it's like 7:54.
Yeah. I know. It's the best.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just shower. And then I go back to sleep at like 11 or midnight. It's the best.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'll just lay in bed for like an hour and 2, and I'll be in bed by 9:30. sleeping. I'm good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, then Sunday kicked off 11 to 5. It was a noon to 3 day, like we talk about every other
Oh
show.
yeah.
The crowd was probably just as thick, but literally for like an hour. Like I'm not exaggerating. It was like almost like they bought a 1 hour pass and left.
Sure. Now, did they have a big guest list?
So they had Sam Whittier, the voice
Yeah.
actor, who's a
Star
fucking
Wars.
badass. Darth Maul. Yep.
Yeah.
One of the most knowledgeable Star Wars people on the planet Earth, by the way. That guy is like into it.
I ran his photograph on his very first convention ever.
Was he cool?
Very. Right from the get-go. He had just gotten Force Unleashed. So he hadn't even been on an actual screen. He was on a video game screen at the time. Force Unleashed had just come out, and he was doing, they had, started booking cons for him at that point, as long before he got Darth Maul's voiceover and anything else. It was even before his Man-Wolf, or his Wolf Man. I forget the name of that show. Maybe it was just Wolf on MTV. But either way, very sweet guy. He was quite young then. But yeah. Continue.
He's a very unique look. There's not a single other person that looks like him on the planet Earth. No. Like, it's weird.
He looks like a cartoon of what you think a movie star's jawline would look like.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weirdly chiseled.
Like, hey, AI, can you make me the perfect? Right. And that's what pops out.
Yeah. And then he's got these really dark eyes. So he's got I think that's why he's perfect for that Wolf show. He looks like he's, got some supernatural stuff going on in there. But he's not a duck.
Yeah.
Not really. It's very cool.
It was him, and then Matthew Wood, who does other Star Wars stuff.
General Grievous and the head of Skywalker Sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was one of the Minnie Mouse voice, and then a couple other Disney people, and a couple X-Men. Oh, Ross Marcon.
Yeah. Did you go over and do your Mickey Mouse voice for the Minnie Mouse?
We did talk, and I did do it for her. Absolutely.
How did I know?
She did it, and I was just like, oh, well, if you come on right down here, I'll tell you.
No. And she was like, is this guy going to stab me in the face? Security. Where we at? Pluto, come bite this son of a bitch.
I'm busy.
Terrible.
Our next week's episode of the Con Culture Convo. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, he no doubt did that to the mini actress, and she ran away.
No, she thought it was funny. She's like, and then she started doing it, and I was like, hey, look, stop moving out my territory, okay? This is me here.
And you were like, I got the weirdest boner. Anyway. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, the person in the hotel room is like, what the fuck is going on? He's got some weird fetish.
Mickey Mini talk. Anyway.
But
they had a few guests. So, they brought the crowd in.
The only thing I kind of think is weird, though, like zero anime or gaming guests, and I think that's really missing. I don't know why you wouldn't, because they're cheap.
They're cheap,
and they bring people
up.
Dude, 60% of the people in that room are dressed as cosplays, anime, and 100%. Gaming.
If you don't have some My Hero Academia or some Dragon Ball Z voiceover actors at every show you do, you're just missing out on a huge demographic. You just really are. But a lot of these old school comic guys they just refuse to accept it.
Yeah.
They don't
Which
like
I think is a
thing.
There. Yeah, because Soda City's kind of the same way. Sure. That one, the Rogue one so far.
Old school comic book shows, and I know those guys want to keep them that way, but you're really limiting the money you can make.
Correct. But yeah, so Sunday was decent. Like I said, it died really hard at 3 because he did the kids cosplay contest, or I think at the end at 2:30 or 3, and that just killed the show. And so I packed up. I packed up around. I did my slow pack up at 3:30 to 4. I filled this up, and then at 4 o'clock, I was just like, I don't want to get on the road because it's 4.5 hours for me, and I don't want to get a hotel.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me. The second it gets dark, I'm a baby when it comes to driving. I will fall asleep while driving. If it can be 5:30 at night and it's dark out, I'm like,
I'm really good at taking cat naps at rest areas if I get like that. But most of the time, I mean, I'm fine with it.
I can drive during the day all day. I'm good, but the night it's just so weird for me. I think it's just the lights.
I do more time during the day. I think
Oh no, I'm the opposite, 100%.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be late because like some of these places in the wintertime, when I'm driving, I'll drive 2.5 hours to a hotel. Like say I'm driving 8 hours, I'm not gonna go 8 hours, so I'll do 2.5 hours, get a hotel. It's like 6:40, and I
Yeah.
get to my hotel and I'm so exhausted, my eyes hurt, I could barely keep them open. I get some food or whatever. I go to my hotel room and I eat, and I'm wide awake for fucking till midnight. And I'm like, as soon as I get out of that car, out there like, oh hey, cool, let's be wide awake now.
That's because it's called parcolepsy, and that's what you have.
It is,
Yeah.
1,000% is, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
terrifying because I get really tired at night when I drive, like tired, exhausted, tired. I get like a headache. I get fucking, I'm like, ugh. So, but yeah, I did make it home. I did load out. But one trick of the trade that I pull that you and I do constantly is these convention centers, pretty much anywhere that has street parking on Sundays, they are free
Oh, yeah.
in 90%
Oh,
of the country.
yeah.
And I got there, the show opened at 11, which is great, not 10. Awesome, Doc.
Yeah.
Donald, mad props.
Always. 11 is always on Sundays, I think.
Period.
Nobody needs to be there at 10, and nobody will be there at 10.
11 to 4, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
But I got there at like 8:30 and got the
Yeah.
closest parking spot that was about 50 feet from the door.
Sure.
For free, and then I just worked on some shit I had to get done and
Yeah.
watched the Brighton game. They ended up winning, so it was a big, good day
Go
for me.
Brighton.
Yeah.
What's the name of their team?
Brighton and Hove Albion is my favorite sports team. So
There we go.
yeah, English Premier League. Yeah. But they won a really big important game, so that was fun to watch that. And then it ended at 10:15. I went in and opened up my booth and chilled, and
there you go.
Good to go.
That's the way to do it.
But yeah, overall, it was a good show. Definitely worth doing. Has
that show been around?
This is the second year.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I think they got about 6,500-ish people. And
that's pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't realize Wilmington was that big, because I'm assuming they had to have been servicing really just Wilmington. Very few people are going to come out of town from that far away, I would think.
I mean, yeah, the surrounding areas a little bit, but like they're not coming from Savannah, they're not coming from Georgia, they're not coming. Like
that's a pretty local from there.
Show. Charlotte?
Yeah.
It's got to be at least 2.5 to 3 hours.
Right. And how about Raleigh?
I think the same.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, they're servicing just the coastal cities then.
Yeah.
People are coming out from the coast there. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
what was that show they used to have back in the day on Jekyll Island? Was it in Georgia?
Yes.
I did it one time. And
it was good the first time. And after that,
and then I think the last year I did it was $1,200.
Yeah.
I was like,
they did like a weird Jekyll and Hyde Comic-Con, blah 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 on island, and we're also gonna have anime, gaming, horror con, and they made it all in their name. And I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, I don't even know what's.
Is that show still around?
I haven't
thought about that show in years.
Which tells you how good it is.
I know. But it was one of those really cool kinds to go to, because you drove onto the island to do it, and it was just neat.
Yes.
I liked that.
I mean, that's the thing I think that you and I just had a discussion about this last week is, having these shows like in Charleston, like in Wilmington, these areas in which they're not big cities like your Boston, New York, your LA, your Orlando, whatever. And I think I want to start looking more at those type cities, because I feel like they're performing better than the bigger cities at a lot of these ones.
They absolutely are. Most of them.
And the costs are half.
Yes.
Half. And they're easier to get to. They're easy to do a parking. For example, I'm going to throw out a couple of cities in which you and I discussed about it before. Yeah. And we're now telling each other what we did. But one of them for me is Jackson. I think Jackson, Mississippi is underrated. It's not a big city, but they run a good show for what it is. It's not a massive show. Yeah. But the hotels are some of the cheapest in the nation.
Good food, and cheap hotels, good earnings.
Fantastic water. That's a joke. If you ever go to Jackson, Mississippi, do not drink the water.
That's like going to Tijuana and being like, give me a tap water. No ice.
It's literally that bad. It's number one in the nation now, so do not drink their water.
But they like to spend money at their shows.
They do.
They like Jackson shows.
Yep. And I think another one for me, I know it sounds kind of weird. I'm going to do one kind of south and one West Coast ish, but I think
Yeah.
Colorado Springs is kind of similar to that because
It is.
it's not Denver, it's not Salt Lake, it's not whatever, but like it's a big city, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where it's so weirdly big because
Well,
Denver's
it's a
so
small
big,
city, but
and
they
then
have a
like
huge population because of the base
yeah,
there. And those base cities, as we've discussed many times, and cat's out of the bag now, but Fairbanks, Alaska is that way, where
yeah,
it's just like that con's a banger because it's got two massive bases there, and people have nothing to spend their money on.
yep,
And I mean, we've maybe never have told you that tip. I don't know if we have or not, but
yeah,
we've long for years we look at cities that have military bases near them
yep,
for cons.
absolutely, yeah,
And boy, oh boy,
Pensacola, yeah,
a huge
Pensacola,
percentage of the time, it's a way to look for cons because people will show up to a con you've never heard of and just throw money at you.
they
Um,
will.
and military people make money, man, and they like to spend it. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm all about that. You know that I've found many a gym that I've kept to myself, same as you have. It's almost always near a military base. It seems like. So,
Literally.
yeah, they're just good shows, and there's some other cities like that too. They're like Albuquerque's always got a really good con, but the city's kind of like, you
Yeah.
know, um,
I mean, it's a pass-through city in every
yeah,
other way. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, no one's going out of their destination to really
right,
necessarily plan a vacation to go there from
right.
Florida. You know what I mean?
And you know what's
But it's
funny? Midland, Texas is that way, but it goes up and down with oil prices. Like
oh
Permian
my
Basin
god,
Comic
is
Con,
it ever?
some years
Woo.
are just a banger show, and then you go the next year. If oil prices are weird or too high, nobody's
Yeah.
spending a dime. You will
No, like
lose your ass.
yeah, you don't want to be there right now
It's the
with
same
oil
show,
prices being
and
low.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
and then you go back the next year and it's right back to normal and awesome. Um, that's a
Calgary
weird city.
Calgary Expo was like that as well.
Oh, was it? I
That's
hadn't
like,
been to
oh
Calgary
yeah,
Expo in years, long
yeah,
before my exile from Canada. In fact, I was on my way to Calgary for
yeah.
when I got exiled from Canada. That was fun.
Boy,
Don't lie to a customs agent, by the way. That's a story for another time.
that would be an interesting story to tell.
No,
Especially with, I
nah.
mean, look, we're in a perfect relationship with Canada right now, so we have
Oh,
nothing to worry about.
God.
Yeah.
I was gonna did that now. Oh my God, he could
Ooh,
have shot me.
you might have
Yeah.
been jailed now, to be honest with you.
Oh, he threatened jail to begin with, and that was then. I can only imagine what they
Oh
would
my
do now.
god!
They just shoot him.
Like,
Yeah, they're
I
not
mean, they
really
don't have
happy with
guns,
us.
but you know,
Did you see they took all the American liquor off liquor cabinets in all the stores? Oopsie.
yeah.
It's a little tense up there.
Canadian
Little
whiskey
tense.
sucks. So I'd be pissed if I couldn't get fucking good old
Right. You can't get some
Kentucky.
Kentucky bourbon.
I want that fucking bourbon, baby. Like,
I want some of that
bourbon
maple
whiskey.
syrup from them. Let's trade these. Anyway.
You have people smuggling fucking American alcohol up there.
Bootleg maple syrup in the back of my trunk.
Yeah,
No big
you're,
deal.
you're going up there. You're going up there with like a bunch of like fucking shitty, lower tiered,
Yeah.
awful whiskey that brands you never heard of. And then
100%.
oh, here's my Evan Williams like $18 bottle of whiskey that you're gonna go sell for $200 up there.
Yeah, that's probably going to start happening again. You know, because there's no wall. They didn't build a wall between Canada and us, so we can just walk across. There's a lot of rivers, though. You got to swim.
Or swim.
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
can
good
boat
swimmer.
across. Anyway, we got off track there. So Wilmington's a good one. All right, Coastal Con, Wilmington, North Carolina. I like it. You got anything else for these good people, or shall we send them to work or work out or wherever they're
I
going?
would say we're cutting down to about 2 weeks from our big announcement podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big one.
Woo!
Look,
second week of April, guys.
It's an announcement. Okay,
it's an announcement. It's a unique one. Whether it's big or not is whatever, but it's still unique.
Come back for the announcement. Don't come back. Up to you. It's just an announcement. All right, nothing
Baby,
big.
come back. You can blame it all on me.
All right, now run. You should get away from this guy. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys, join the convo.